So our high performance area is specifically dedicated to be able to cater for teams and individual athletes. High performance training, when we talk specific strength and conditioning for individuals and teams, differ to what you'll normally be able to do in a gym. There are specific needs an athlete requires, and a classical example to really simplify it is have a look at the floors. The floors are designed to be able to drop weights. In some instances, athletes would have to pick up a lot of weight, and it might be too risky to lower it slowly, you know. So the floors are durable and created to actually drop weights, and the gym is created to have a large team working out all together and be able to perform specifically what they need to do to be able to get themselves ready. At the Sports Science Institute, we have what we call a platinum membership that gives anybody access to all areas of the building. If you look upstairs, we've got a watt bike studio called the Endurance Studio. A platinum membership gives access to the Endurance Studio, it gives access to the high performance gym and to our wellness center gym. So it does give access to all areas of the institute.
I coached the girls team and played on it because there's hardly any girls playing basketball. It took me ages to actually learn how to do it. I mainly train barefoot, like with socks on, just because I think you're able to have that kind of natural toe splay.
Yeah.
And it helps you with balance, it helps you with proprioception. Not that I need it much for road running, but when it comes to actually using all of the muscle groups, if you've got all of your toes out and all of your feelers out, everything's connected properly, you feel more grounded. I find when I'm wearing any type of shoes, like running shoes, I'm restricted and I don't feel like I'm able to work out properly. It feels really, it seems odd, but...
Just very briefly, the lifting aspect of your training, what is the goal behind it? Just strength?
Yeah, so to get stronger, essentially, or to maintain strength. Depending on where you are in your build-up to whatever race you're doing, you will always have a level, like a period where you're just maintaining what you've got. And that's kind of where I'm at the moment. I was lifting, I've gradually built up the weight to something that I think is achievable to maintain. So it's just over my body weight essentially. So anything from 4 to 6 repetitions of the exercises I'm going to do, like deadlifts, any compound move, RDLs. Some of the band work I'll do high repetitions of, but that's purely because it's not as loaded, it's not as heavy, so I can go for higher repetitions, and that is again muscular endurance and its maintenance of my posture, my core stability, all of my muscle groups' ability to stabilise hips, knees, ankles, which is really important for runners because you're putting through a lot of load, a lot of high impact and high intensity. So making sure that your joints can cope with that strain, not just the external muscle groups, but the internal ones that hold that joint into position. They need to be worked. So this particular session is based more around compound moves, more around strength. Okay. Some sessions might be more around activation, making sure different muscle groups are activating and they're actually working out. So they don't just chill out, take a ride, and other muscle groups start to work instead of those. And then eventually you'll find out that there is a weakness there. So these plates always look big, but they're not heavy. If you add the weight of the bar and the plate weights and think about how much I weigh, that's the difference. So if someone who's heavier than me, for example, twice my weight, is lifting this, I'd be like, dude, you need to increase the load. But it's all dependent on strength, obviously, but it's body weight to strength ratio, I guess, or capacity. It's about technique, so as long as you're getting 4 to 6 reps and you are getting there and you're failing at those repetitions, if you're doing a lighter load and you're failing at 8 and your target is 6, then you need to adjust the load. Yeah. I can even put my hands around this bar, it's massive. home, I was 48.
You were?
48. Now I'm about 47.5 kilograms now. But when I'm at home, my mum feeds me, so I get banana bread.
Runners, normally they wouldn't be doing this close to a major race.
Not, in my opinion, they wouldn't. And that, again, everyone's different, so they might do. But because I have issues with my back stabilizers and everything, this needs to be something that's in my routine for a bit longer. The Romanian deadlifts are like, probably when someone's watching you do them, I always think like everyone's got a different way of doing Romanian deadlifts, and it's weird because it's one exercise. But I think sometimes some people have softer knees, some people don't move from the hips properly, they don't hip hinge, and there's like stiff leg deadlift and Romanian deadlift, and they're so close in terms of how you perform them.
Just for people that don't realise, you were a competitive bodybuilder at one stage.
Yeah, I think that was kind of the nicest way to put it. I just did a figure competition, but because I was in the fitness industry and it was kind of my life, I wanted a goal around that. I wanted to be training towards something. And a friend of mine had the same goal. He was an older guy. We both trained together, and he wanted to do a bodybuilding competition. And I said I would do the female equivalent. More about like the diameter of the bar, my little hands, trying to hold on to it for X amount of repetitions. So it means I can increase the load, but I've got to help holding on to it for longer. Also in a position where it's kind of hanging from your hands, so your forearms are doing a lot. If they fatigue before your big muscle groups do, then you can't really achieve what you want to achieve. Colorado Chiropractic when I was in Boulder. He gave me a few exercises to do, and John will be happy to hear that I'm still doing them. And my chiro in the UK, Adrian Cobb, who also enjoys this exercise for runners. It's good for your transverse abdominis, so it's that sheath muscle that goes around your core. So it's a static hold, but you're physically circling your upper body from your shoulders, but it's kind of like a plank position, but you're stirring the pot, hence the name, and you go one way and then the other. exercise properly, you have to push through your glutes. If you don't, you won't be able to do it properly. So you really need to feel like your glute med, your glute minimus is all firing, because you're coming at this exercise, you'll see in a second, from a bit of an angle.
Okay.
So leaning into the exercise forces that glute to fire if you push through the hip. But as you lean in, you can push through that glute. You can do a reverse lunge and drive. So it's drive through the hip. Try and keep that the barbell just gliding up and down rather than moving backwards and forwards. Do single leg squat again. Make sure that keep that bar from coming forward and backwards. You get enough range. And then RDLs, again, single leg. Just getting the hammy involved in the glutes. Just gives you a slightly different alternative to doing just a kettlebell RDL or...
Yeah. Tish, thanks for letting us hang out with your lifting session.
That's okay.
Obviously,
It's not very heavy.
obviously part of your program, you're still doing a lot of cycling and a move to Stellenbosch to get closer to
Some trails, yeah.
trails and a what I find a very motivational running area. Obviously a lot of elites there.
Yeah, and I don't think Cape Town hasn't got anything to offer. It's just I've stayed here for quite a long time, and because I don't run on the mountain, it's a bit more technical. I need softer surfaces, but not road so much. And here I am I feel a bit restricted in that sense. So there's plenty of places to run, but a lot of it is hard surfaces, and I do just feel like my legs would forgive me for just being on a bit more of a softer ground. And yeah, I mean the sports facilities there are amazing, and that's why sports teams come out and use them.
Yeah.
And it's well known for that. But like I said, this Sports Science Institute, it's perfect for my training, and I'll miss being here, but I will be in and out of Cape Town, so I'll still be able to use the gym here for important stuff like my strength endurance work. But ultimately I can ride my bike and do my running out in Stellenbosch as well.
And you happy if we do a part 2 of this podcast and come and join you in Stellenbosch and go do a little bit of running with you?
Yeah, sure. We'll keep up, Jeff.